Oh yeah, from that meeting there'll be detailed email notification of weeks before. Won't be.
Hi everybody, I'm Kathy from TICSA. We're just going to pad time here for about 5 minutes. We've got some really high numbers on our call today, so just to allow everybody time to connect. Appreciate if you can just hold on with us for 3 or 4 minutes till everybody gets on, and we'll kick things off. So thanks very much for your patience.
How's my audio in the back? Is that okay? Can you hear much of the, yeah.
Thanks to everybody who's just joined on. We're just going to give everybody 2 more minutes to join before we kick things off today. So thanks for your patience. Okay, guys, we're going to kick things off. I know we'll still have some more people join us, but today's session is recorded for that simple purpose that we're all juggling so many balls. Good morning, everyone. I hope you've all got a cuppa. I'm sipping on one right now too. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kathy Ramsey, the Partnerships Manager here at the Tourism Industry Council of South Australia. This In Conversation series is undertaken monthly to keep the South Australian tourism industry and our key stakeholders engaged and informed. I will introduce our speaker shortly, but just want to run through a few housekeeping matters just to keep things, whilst we're all done this so much over the last couple of years, just would to do a quick reminder. If everybody could please keep their microphone on mute, that would be kindly appreciated. We'll use the chat function for any questions and comments, and push these through, guys, because we like to make these sessions as interactive as possible. We'll endeavour to try and work through any questions as we go through the session, but we have allowed for some Q&A time at the end as well. Lovely. Thanks so much to everybody for joining us today. Our guest speaker is Alice Fulton-Sherriff from Purple Giraffe. Purple Giraffe, hi Alice.
Hello.
Purple Giraffe is a marketing consultancy located here in Adelaide and have been a proud partner of TIC-SA for some time now. We're so lucky to have Alice as a part of the team in Purple Giraffe. She has such a rich history in marketing, but particularly tourism and hospitality. So that's a great win for everybody on the call today. And Alice is going to be giving us her top 5 picks for marketing that she believes we should all be doing in 2022. And I'm really excited to get into this because I know most of our guests on the call today, they're juggling so many balls. They're in the business, running the business. So really, really, really looking forward to this session. Welcome, Alice. How are you going?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Lovely. So, Alice, let's just smash into this. The world of marketing, it's changing. It's extremely difficult for everybody to keep up with the trends and what's continuing to attract consumers. Even business owners, where should they be spending their time or directing their staff if they have people in paid marketing roles where they should be directing their resources to? And obviously with our members based in region and breadth is wide and far, online is a vital part of how we engage with customers. So perhaps to begin with, Alice, if we have a bit of a summary of perhaps the importance of marketing and what do you think it's going to look like for us in 2022?
Okay, sure. So, well, essentially, without marketing, many businesses just simply wouldn't exist because marketing is ultimately what drives sales or visitors or guests. Marketing builds brand awareness, it increases sales, it grows businesses, and it engages customers. So marketing is like having a consistent conversation with your customers. And customer engagement is at the heart of any successful business. So marketing is an avenue to inform your customers about exactly what it is that your business does and what sets your business aside from everyone else. So without marketing, how are you going to highlight those unique selling points that make your business who they are? And in the tourism industry, no experience is exactly the same. So it's all about communicating exactly this. Marketing establishes a company's personality, and it allows customers to establish an emotional connection with that company. So it's so much more than just a logo. And marketing builds trust, and it builds a business's reputation. So it's essential.
Absolutely. And I do love that it's about trust. And we know consumer confidence has been impacted as we've moved through the last 2 years. And pull out of what you've just said there, trust, and it's an ongoing communication. It's an ongoing, conversation with our guests or our potential customers.
Yeah.
And really pivotal as we've all been impacted in various ways, that continue to have that ongoing conversation to continue to build trust.
Absolutely.
And ultimately that consumer confidence.
In the tourism industry, it's also about inspiring. So it's not simply about pushing like just offers and packages and experiences. It's about inspiring visitation. It's about inspiring someone to take that break that they probably really need, to go on a holiday, to get outdoors, to try something new. So it's building that trust and it's building that inspiration, all into one, really. And I think that's what's so wonderful about the tourism industry is that it does involve a lot of inspiration within the marketing, within its marketing. Some other products don't have that luxury. So obviously, like you mentioned, so now more than ever, now that the tourism industry sort of comes out of they've just had such a turbulent time. And as we emerge from this world we've been living in, it's really important for tourism businesses to take advantage of all this built up demand. So it's now more than ever important to invest in marketing. So marketing in 22 is already and will continue to be competitive. And you're right, it is always evolving and it's always changing, and it is difficult to keep up to date with all of the new, tools and everything that's going on and everything that's provided to us. You want to make the most of it. But I think just understanding some core areas will definitely set you on the path to attracting your next guest.
Absolutely. And also just knowing where to kick,
Yeah.
The breadth of marketing and the many platforms you can market on is so wide. So just knowing some goalposts for our community on where to kick. So let's dive a little bit deeper into that, I think, Alice, in terms of, we've got 5 key things that everybody's going to take away today. First topic, I'm going to throw to you, but I feel like it's social media related, because socials is it's evolved so much over, it's constantly evolving, and so hard to keep abreast of. But what should we be doing in that side of that element of marketing? Can you tell us a little bit more about that, where we should be directing our energy?
So social media, the rise in social media is almost unbelievable, to think that we now have these various platforms that we can post beautiful photos or beautiful images or share news articles to an audience that we never would have thought we could have reached. So I will start with organic social media, because it's probably something that a lot of businesses are already doing. So organic social media refers to the free content. So posts, photos, videos, stories, reels, that all users, including businesses and brands, share on their feeds. And so, for example, if you're an oyster shucking station and you share a beautiful photo of an oyster being shucked, and you share this, and you add a caption and you add hashtags, this post will go to your organic reach. And the way that you grow this is through followers sharing your post and also exposing it. So sharing that post and exposing it to their followers and their audience, and by people following the hashtags that you use. And it sounds pretty simple, but the reason that organic social media is so important is that it's the best way to nurture a connection with your customers. Visitors are likely to visit your social media, so your Facebook page, your Instagram page, before they make their final decision to book. And in a lot of cases, they'll visit your Instagram page before they go to your website. So it's critical for brand awareness and to build your brand's personality to have those pages set up to display with your best foot forward. It's like your front of house. So in the tourism industry, I highly recommend you being on the below, so Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. YouTube, if you do a lot of video content, or if you have the ability to do a lot of video content is absolutely wonderful in just showcasing your tourism product. So if you are able to do it, I highly recommend it. And there's ways of doing video through Instagram and Facebook with stories and posts. So getting on those 4 is my recommendation. And user-generated content is like a pocket of gold. So if a visitor of that oyster shucking station goes and takes a beautiful photo of them shucking the oyster and shares it on their Instagram feed and tags the oyster shucking station, that will obviously get exposed to their audience, and it's more likely to inspire someone to do that experience because it's real content, and the viewer can visualize themselves being there. And if you get tagged in that post, make sure that you then share that onto your Instagram feed or your Facebook feed. So and there are ways that you can encourage people to share their photos when they're visiting you or with you, and that's by providing your social media handles and hashtags somewhere visible at your business and saying, we would love you to share your experience positively. So it sounds pretty simple, but it's crucial, and you'll see a lot of businesses are now at the moment like resharing all of these posts that people have been tagged in or are tagging in. So that's sort of organic social media. But I would also like to just to mention there, while I'm on it, is I would suggest for your Instagram page adding a link tree. So you notice when you see people say they'll post a photo and they say link in bio. If you can add a link tree, when you go to your bio, it's a platform where you can have multiple websites. So you can have multiple links to your like URL pages of your offers or your specific packages or your specific events. So it really helps with the customer journey. So you just set up a link tree, add it to your Instagram account where it says link in bio there, and then a user can jump on that and see all your links of everything that you're offering.
That's a great little tip there, Alice, about the Linktree stuff, but also about sharing, encouraging our guests and patrons to share our content.
Yeah.
Just quickly for our audience, when you talk handles, that's your Instagram @ signal, isn't it? Yep. No, that's good. I just like to keep that clear for everybody listening, and so obviously sharing your @ address for Instagram and your hashtag. In terms of Linktree, is that a free platform that's easy to integrate there?
Yes, it's free. So you just Google Linktree and it'll come up probably straight away. And it's a really, really easy platform to use. So all you need to do is, say you have an accommodation package and you want to do a post and say book now, you can just copy that exact URL for that package onto your Linktree, and then say you want to say another post and say book our restaurant, you can copy the URL for the restaurant and you can put that on your Linktree, so that when someone goes to that Linktree, they can just see all these pages to go through, and it might actually inspire them to go and look at something else as well. So
I love it. And thanks for your question there, Hazel. I feel like I was just 2 seconds ahead of you there in the question, and perfect examples there, Alice, because Hazel is, I call her the packages queen in our industry. She does really well in leveraging packages to sell her B&B product.
Awesome.
So we've touched on socials there a little bit. What else do we need to look at in this sort of space?
Yeah, so just it's you need to ensure that you're engaging with your community. So liking other people's posts, liking other companies' posts, commenting on posts, replying to messages in a timely manner, replying to comments in a timely manner, replying to reviews in a timely manner, because social media platforms reward engagement. So if you're engaging, then they're likely to prioritize your page over another page. So it sounds simple, but it just works with the way that the whole system is structured and the way that Instagram or Facebook prioritizes pages to be viewed.
And in a timely manner, do you have a general rule of thumb? Is it a 24-hour turnaround?
Within 24 hours.
Yeah,
definitely. Because then again, you start losing trust.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just good to get on top of it. And if it's tourism, they could be checking in the next 4 hours. So the quicker that you can get onto it. So obviously set notifications on all of your platforms so that you're getting that notification that someone's messaged you, because I mean, don't do it if you don't want to see all the notifications, but it is important because people are often messaging direct on Facebook now, as opposed to calling or as opposed to any website inquiry. So I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'll just go straight to Instagram and book a restaurant via that. So you've got to be across all these platforms, because you might miss an important booking.
You might miss a booking. No, completely agree. Thanks, Alice.
Yeah. That's all right. And I was going to just touch on as well, like paid social media. Did you want me to, as in comparison to organic?
Yeah, absolutely. That would just be good in terms of people understanding the differences there.
So paid social media refers to posts on social media platforms that are supported by an advertising budget. So, and this really does require a strategy, and it's used to increase followers, engagements, clicks, views, because it's targeted advertising on your social media platforms. So you can have a campaign and say you wanted to attract people from Adelaide to your glamping site, and you're located in the Riverland or in a region, you can actually target Adelaide and surrounding suburbs with your content. So whether it be a post or a video, and it's great because you can target, it's essentially, it's very targeted, and you've got money behind it. So Instagram will and Facebook will put it in front of your targeted audience, and you can also select lookalike audiences. So audiences similar to people that are already following you on Facebook and already following you on Instagram, you can actually pay to target similar audiences. These are quite involved, these strategies in the back end. So I do recommend you reaching out to an agency to help you assist. You can obviously Google online how to do them, but it does get quite technical. So yeah, and you can also even get to the stage where you build like a multi-funnel stage where you have various funnels. So an awareness stage, a consideration stage, and a conversion stage. So, you know, someone might click on your very first video which is an awareness stage, and that makes them a warm audience. So then they get fed the consideration stage, which is a second video or post. And then if they engage with that, then we send them a third post, which is a conversion post. And then by then they're pretty close to converting. So they click on it and likely to book your business. So paid social media is, it's a fantastic tool. And obviously it's amazing that you can target an audience that otherwise, you know, if you're more used to traditional forms of advertising, you just wouldn't have the access to. So yeah, and if you're going to do paid social media, like video content with text overlay is a great form of content. But yeah,
lovely.
More technical.
Yeah, absolutely more technical, and hence why you say engage the expertise of a professional in that stage and have a larger strategy to support it. Just don't go in sort of one-dimensional.
No, because you are, you know, you're spending money behind it. And
well, if you want ROI, don't you, Alice? It's essentially what we want, that conversion. So
yeah, exactly. And if you don't have a large marketing budget, you can also do, you know, sponsored posts on Instagram and Facebook, which don't work as well, obviously, because they're much lesser budget. But you know, you can trial them and see how they go. Everything's about trial and error as well. And
absolutely.
I did want to just mention on this topic was the Google My Business.
Oh, I'm keen for you to talk on that, because I've actually had some members reach out to me lately on some success they've had in integrating my Google My Business.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear a bit more about that, and what some quick wins we should be doing in terms of making sure we've got that functionality and we're talking to that within our business.
So make sure, first of all, so if you've got a website, you basically want to claim that website listing in Google. So if you don't own your Google My Business listing, there are ways to. So if you search your website on Google, and you can go claim listing, it is a bit of a process. They actually have to send you a postcard to the address where the website is listed. Okay. And then you can confirm it. So it's pretty funny because it's Google and you think it wouldn't be as like old school as that, but it is. So that's the first step.
So, and when you do this, and if I was to search accommodation CBD Adelaide, and you know how the little pins pop up on the map, is this where we're talking about? That's how you pop up on those maps? Is that
so that's how you get, so you will eventually get there. So Google how to set up your Google My Business listing. Like I said, you need to claim that listing. And so then within that, that's where you add all the information about your business. Google is likely to have already picked up a lot of that information just based on the back end, what they do. So for example, your website's already listed there. You've probably got a Facebook page. And so Google kind of collects all of this information and builds this Google My Business page. So it's probably already got information like your location, your phone number, your website address, but you want to claim that business listing so that you can manage it. So you can update hours, like opening hours, you can update, you can add menus if you need to, you can update images, because otherwise they're images that you don't necessarily have control over. And another thing is you can actually post to that Google My Business page as well. So right down the bottom or near the bottom, it says add post. So similar to what you would do on Facebook and Instagram, you can post it to your Google My Business listing. And again, Google rewards engagement. So by adding more and more, it'll basically increase your visitation, increase your visibility on Google.
Wow, that's great. And I'm glad you explained that it is a little bit more of a process with Google, because sometimes we have this expectation, sometimes we press and things should happen.
No,
so I'm really
time.
Yeah, I'm really grateful.
And it's especially tricky if your business has taken over another business and like you've got a name change and things like that. So something like that, if you're finding that you're trying to claim the listing or you're trying to update and it's just not working, then it's potentially good to reach out to a business like a marketing business or to assist you with that, because that can be tricky. But if it's a brand new website, it should be fine. And like you can sit there and wait for the postcode and get postcard from Google and think this is never going to come, and then it will come. So
perfect. No, that's great. So socials, we've got some great tips there around Google My Business, organic marketing, and especially the link tree. And I can see Hazel's already gone on and jumped onto that. So that's great. Some really good tangible stuff. So I'm just going to quickly pause to read this comment from Sharon. I had an email yesterday saying being replaced with Google Maps and search. Could you quickly talk to that before we move away from this topic?
Yeah, I saw that comment, and I haven't received an email or anything like that. And I would be very wary of just of emails that are coming through. Make sure that they're coming from definite, like you've got to make sure it's credible where that email is coming from. I don't know why. I don't know on this topic that it's being replaced by Google Maps, so I can't speak to it. But I would just say just continue with the Google My Business, and with any email like that, you're welcome to send it through to myself, and I can show my digital team here and just say, are you aware of anything like this? If you want, I wouldn't action anything on it yet, because I haven't heard of that, so I'm not yet.
Yeah, thanks for that, Alice. And Sharon, and to the rest of the community, we will connect, do a email like we do, post this with contact details for Alice, just for you to connect and reach out. So answering your second question there too, Alice, Sharon. So we'll make sure we connect you both there to further look into that. So I feel like we've covered a bit in terms of Google and the socials. What's the next key thing we should be looking at and probably directing some energy into in terms of marketing our business for 2022?
Okay, cool. So what I wanted to talk to now was I was going to talk about the websites and the importance of them being up to date. And also, so it seems like a lot of people are receiving these emails, so that's probably quite legit. And I think just referring back to the Google My Business, I can see a couple of comments. So I'll look into that after the call, because I might be learning. Like we said, it changes all the time.
Yeah, it's constantly a changing landscape, but potentially it could just be a change of name by the sounds of what people are saying.
Which it's often that they have, businesses change names of things. So it could just be the tweak of that and essentially the same sort of platform. But yeah.
And perhaps we might just pause on the email we send out, and you could just do some clarification around that for us, Alice, and then we can message everybody on that, just so you're all aware. But that's great. I love the power of our community and sharing knowledge. This is what it's all about. That's definitely that's wonderful.
I'm learning too all the time.
Absolutely. Websites. Cool. So you're going to touch on websites and really the importance of it is the vehicle that drives our business, and you've got to my analogy is always you've got to service that vehicle, don't you? It's not a sort of set and forget rule in terms of your website, but sometimes we're guilty of that, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. And we spoke about trust at the start of the call, and I guess it's when it comes down to updating your website and keeping it current. If you don't update it, it can definitely detract rather than engage, and it can also it can appear out of date and therefore untrustworthy. So it's really, really important to keep your content fresh, especially because you're going to likely have returning visitors. So if you've got the same content up there, then that's not likely going to inspire them to come again. Whereas if you've got new content, then they can be like, oh, wow, it looks like it's, you know, there's something new. So let's do it. Let's go. And it's really important to keep everything relevant to the season. So if it's winter, don't only have videos or photos or content of users in the summer, because it's just not relevant at that time. So really highlight why your experience is so good in winter. And there's nothing worse than jumping onto a site and seeing something that's just either a package or an experience that's just, it's not available anymore. And an up-to-date website will definitely help you stand out against your competition. And updated websites also improve search ranking results. So updating your website consistently should be done so people can find you easily on the web. So search engines do updates regularly, and they make it a priority to list pages that are new and relevant. So it's really important to update for that reason. And so when I said, optimized at the start, when I spoke about this topic, I was referring to search engine optimization. And this is, it's a bit of a scary term, because it's a bit like, wow, this sounds technical. And it takes a while to get a good grip of it. So I think there's lots of avenues to SEO, but there are some that you can understand that are really quite simple and, can really help with your search engine optimization, which essentially means the process of improving your site to increase its visibility when people search for products or services on Google and Bing and other search engines. So a good SEO strategy is really important to drive credible traffic to your website. So I'll break down a couple of areas that you can focus on that are quite they're simple, but they're hard. So one of the critical elements of SEO is keyword optimization. So within the text of your website, it's really important to select the right keywords to use. So, and it's really important to use keywords, like 3 keywords together often work the best. So for example, best hotels Adelaide, or best weekend getaway Adelaide. And the way to really figure this out is if you go to search something on Google and go, oh, I want to go and do this event or this activity, you just write, what would you write into Google search? You go best restaurants Adelaide, or top regional experiences Adelaide or South Australia, and just think about that when you're writing your text on your website, because that's what people are searching. And so if you've got those keywords within the back end of your website, you're more likely to be prioritized when people are searching for those things. So that's keyword optimization. So maybe take this away and just Google that and see if you can implement that on your website. Secondly, what's really important is to check your website loading speed. So there's nothing worse than jumping on a website and watching it load and load and load and load. So really important to check your website speed and make sure that it's functioning at a good speed, that people aren't going to get turned off.
And also, what if it isn't? So what if I log on to Kathy Ramsey's walking tours as a random business and my website's taking long to load? What do I do about that?
Yeah, so you probably need to reach out to a marketing agency to help you with your plugins in the back end. because it's something that needs to be looked at. There's multiple reasons as to why it could be loading slowly. You could have too many high-res images. It could just be the way that the back end is built. It's not really an easy fix to all websites. It's definitely something that would need to be looked at and analysed.
So it's really probably about doing a little bit of an audit of your website, how quick it's running, you know, is your content relevant, some keywords, and like you said, those 3 keywords is really benefit, and probably just doing, and I would say, you know, an audit of your website yearly, or would you do that more on a 6-monthly basis?
I would obviously say within at least 6 months, but that's me. You know, 6 months at least is ideal. Yeah. Whereas a year, you've kind of, a lot can happen in a year, and a lot can change, and a lot can happen with competitors in a year. And you really want to make sure that you're sort of keeping up to date with whatever they're doing as well. So
sure.
And then also within that, just obviously, you know, making your website mobile friendly, because you know, it's so many people are using their mobiles in these days. You know, I think it's sort of reported that around 60% of all hotel traffic is now booked on a mobile. So that gives you a good indication of how important it is to have your website mobile friendly. And then another really great tactic for SEO is blogs. So have a Google of how to write a really great blog for SEO. But essentially you could come up with, you know, the 10 best hikes in Uluru or somewhere. And essentially what blogs do is they create answers that people are looking for on Google. So you could essentially have all the answers to what someone's Googling in your blog. So they need to be at least 400 words, and they need to have those keywords that I mentioned, those keywords within the blog. But uploading a couple of blogs to your website can do wonders for SEO. So, and if you don't have a blog function, it's something that a web developer or a marketing agency can definitely help you add to your website.
That's
and
fabulous.
It's stuff that you probably already know, because it's, you know, you work within the industry all the time. So it's knowledge that's in your head that you just need to jot down and upload it to your website. It's informative. Yeah.
But it's also, you know, going blogs, are they really relevant these days? And I think, you know, sometimes we question that because you do put a lot of time into writing it, but how that feeds into your SEO, it's important to understand that.
It can appear like a dated sort of technique because, you know, does anyone really have time to read a 400 to 1,000 word blog on a website? The answer is probably not, but it's all about the back end optimization of your website. It's about being able to add more keywords to your website.
Yeah, no, I really love that tip. Thank you.
That's all right.
So we've got 1 and 2, 3, and you're going into some, we're really diving in deep to this.
I could keep going as well, but I won't. We'll go to the next one.
I love it. I love it. So the third thing, I really love how we're going to talk about this. It's public relations, but it's also influencer marketing.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love you to talk on some examples, but also the benefits for business doing this. And I really love how you've sort of put influencer as a PR, because it's the way we need to look at it. But we sometimes look at it, what does that mean? Where's that place in my business? And I love how it is sort of under that PR umbrella.
Yeah. So that's it. So influencer marketing, whether you like it or not, it does work in the tourism industry, and it doesn't work in all industries. So it's something that we can leverage if you manage it correctly, and you select the right influencers for your target market. So it definitely doesn't work in all industries, like I said. Essentially, like at a fundamental level, influencer marketing is a type of social media marketing that uses endorsements or product mentions from influencers. And so influencers are individuals, or they could be, you know, animals or dogs, or that have a really large following on social media, and they're dedicated followers as well. So they're really quite engaged with these people and what they're doing. They sort of aspire to be like these people in a way. So that's why they're influencers. And you need to set out clear expectations from the beginning. So say, you know, you want to invite an influencer to come and stay at your glamping site. So for a night, you need to say you can come and stay here for the night, you have breakfast included, but you need to say for this amount of posts. So I want to see like at least 3 stories and 1 post to your actual page. And obviously you need to tag the business, and you need to use, share your experience positively. And, influencers, like I was saying with PR, they can work hand in hand with PR, because if you've got a campaign or you're launching a new product or a new experience, and you're going to, do up a press release, and you're going to, in the hope of getting some news articles, what you can do to make some more noise around your campaign is invite a bunch of influencers to come and experience your product. And so at a similar time as the press release is going out, you've got all of these influencers coming to stay, or coming to use, coming to your restaurant, coming to stay at your accommodation, coming to, go for one of your treks or whatever it is. And so you're reaching this wide audience that you would never have normally been able to reach. And again, it's just that noise. So it's really incorporating the influencers within your marketing campaign. And again, making sure that you select the right influencers for that marketing campaign. And if you don't know where to start, like, that's completely fair enough, because there's so many influencers out there, and it's really hard to determine who is the right fit. So I suggest that you reach out to a company like ours, Purple Giraffe, or reach out to local tourism bodies and ask, who have you guys had success with in the past, and can you provide any recommendations to us? A company like Adelaide, they'll go above and beyond for you. Like, they do cost a bit of money, but sometimes they won't charge you. Sometimes the experience is enough. So, and that's really what you want. You don't want to pay money. You want them to be able to come use your amazing product, and in exchange for them to share their experience positively.
And you took the words out of my mouth there, because Adelaide is a partner of TIC SA, so and recently come on board as a partner of TIC SA, because they're really passionate about the tourism industry and what they do in that sector. But yes, they can market your products, but they are influencers as well. And obviously, the SATC have led this way as well,
100%.
in leveraging influencers in terms of their campaigns.
What I recommend is, if you've got something like a new experience or anything, just reach out to SATC and say, hey, like, we've got this going on, and you've got an autumn campaign or a winter campaign or a summer campaign coming up. Is there any way that you can potentially think that our product would fit in with your campaign? And if it does, if it doesn't, then they'll let you know, but they'll definitely keep it in the back of their mind, and they'll think about how they can help you. And they'll definitely be able to recommend some awesome influencers and ones that they've worked with before. And if they might even choose to manage the process for you, and in which case you'll just have to host them, and they'll pretty much help manage it. But so yeah, really don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to reach out.
Lean on others. Absolutely. That's a great tip. So there's probably one common factor I see as we've talked through today, we're sort of up to our 4th tip, but we've gone talking about socials, our website, there's influencer marketing too, so and public relations, but particularly, Alice, when we're talking about socials and our websites, it's really about having imagery and videos and that right content. Talk to us more on that, and having engaging content through imagery, and obviously, because that feeds into those platforms that drive our business.
Totally. So there's no point in doing all of this other activity if you don't have engaging content to start, because there's so much out there at the moment that people are only going to stop when they see something that they can engage with, or they think, oh, that's different. So, a new perspective, or an unexpected laugh, or bits of knowledge, or something helpful, or something inspiring, or entertaining. So that's essentially what engaging content is. So it gives you a little peek at something that you might not be familiar with, or you haven't seen before, or something that you can relate to in a way. Engaging content sort of like it appeals to multiple senses, if that makes sense. So it makes you laugh, it can make you think, And so
it's
this
a
is
motive
why
in ways.
it's a motive. It's definitely, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if this is why succinct sort of, you know, beautiful imagery, like you said, and beautiful video, like you said, like I can't recommend just putting the time and the money into getting that content right, images or videos that you can use across platforms and you can use in engaging ways. So, you know, it could be, you know, there's Instagram tools such as polls. So you could do you prefer walking or riding a bike? So that's engaging content. Posts about your positive reviews. That's something that's engaging because it's real content. You know, posts about tour guides. There's a guides app in Instagram that you can use to actually add a guide. You know, ask viewers to comment on your post, ask their feedback, ask them a question, say, you know, what's your favorite region to visit in South Australia? Get that engagement going. You know, and like I said, make it informative, make it funny, make it relevant. It doesn't all have to be funny, but make it, if you can add an element of wittiness or anything to it, just to bring that personality out. People are looking to engage with personality and go beyond just a post of a photo. And blogs, like I said before, they're really good. So if you do write a blog, you can share that on your Instagram or your Facebook feed or your LinkedIn feed, and then people can, it's just something that's a bit different. And competitions work really well, and competitions with a bit of spend, so a bit of like a sponsored, if you've got a competition like win this awesome experience, you know, on the GAN or wherever it is, with dinner included, make a competition around it and say, and then put a sponsored post behind it. So spend a little bit of money, potentially up from like $50 to $100, and you just watch that. That's free. It's a free experience. It'll go nuts. So just make sure that the content that you use, or the video that you use, or the image that you use is going to capture people along with the competition.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's some really great tips there. And can I ask this question, Alice? You know, the focus is about us creating engaging content, but what's the sort of protocol about, you know, when we've talked about sharing content that's generated by users? Can we use that again? What's the sort of protocol around that? Because sometimes our guests are creating that content for us.
Absolutely. So if they've tagged you in it, then it's just it's a matter of you resharing. If it's something that you feel like you want to reach out to them, just message them privately and just say, do you mind if we share this bit of content? I think that's definitely, there's an element of respect that they will really appreciate if you do that. And there's a lot of, like, there's a high chance that they've got multiple other photos or videos that they took when they were there as well, and can go, absolutely share that, and here's 10 more photos. So if you've got the time to reach out to them, and if you think, oh, like for example, if it's children, I recommend definitely asking if this is okay for us to share. But if they've tagged you in it, it's likely that they want you to share it.
That's great. Now I'm conscious of time, so we're going to try and keep on pushing through this, guys, but we've got some really juicy stuff from you today, Alice, so I appreciate that. Last one is reviews. We know reviews is big, and it comes back into that first point. It's about having a conversation, it's about building trust with our guests, and we know reviews and managing reviews, not just from socials, that, you know, our business, our industry has so many third-party websites that are distribution channels essentially, and booking channels, for our guests. So talk to us about the value of reviews. And obviously every member, everybody who's online with TIC-SA, who are a TIC-SA member, have access to Review Pro, which is an amazing portal for managing the online reviews all in one destination. But essentially the value of reviews, the importance on that, and how we can leverage them for marketing purposes there, Alice.
Yeah, so exactly. So, you know, you're going to receive reviews on Google, Facebook, Instagram, TripAdvisor, Booking.com, Expedia, any of those third-party platforms. And it's really important to make sure that you're on top of those reviews, you're responding to those reviews in a timely manner again, and listening to those reviews and taking that feedback on board. And one way that, if you get an amazing 5-star review, you can screenshot that review and you can share that on your Facebook and you can share that on your Instagram, because that's proof that you know, people, that's proof that your product is amazing. But it's, I guess it was when, yeah, so that's how you can utilize reviews. I'll leave that one to you, Kathy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that question. We'll come back to that.
So it's just essentially using them to your benefit. So, you know, you've got, and if someone's left a positive review, you know, you can invite them back because they've loved it. So, you know, make sure that you're communicating with them. Just say, you know, you might want to, like, you know, it's so great that you had an amazing stay. Coming up, you know, next season we have this amazing product. We'd love you to come and, you know, experience that again. So these people have loved your business. It's about utilizing them, and but in terms of your third-party websites, it's really coming out of COVID and emerging from this stage that we've been in. It's just about getting the basics right. So if you're listed on sites like TripAdvisor, make sure that as much as your website is up to date, make sure that those websites are up to date, because again, they're crucial. They're people where people go to search reviews. So they all need to align. All of your pages need to align. And it takes a bit of time, but it's really important. And it's about updating your imagery again and across all 3 platforms. If you just set aside a big chunk of time to do the project, it'll just, it's so beneficial. And that's when you can really take time to read those reviews and really understand what people are saying about your business. And like, also, it's important to implement a third-party website strategy. So yeah, there are the big ones, like I mentioned, and then there's the Australian Tourism Data Warehouse website, so ATDW, which you should be listed on, but really explore other opportunities. So whether it's a local tour guide or a local tourism information centre, just make sure that your website is listed on their websites, because that's also can create backlinking, which is hugely important for people to be able to find your website online. So just what I recommended doing is obviously looking at anyone that could support you within your region, and where you could list your website, and also looking at what your competition is doing and where's your competition listed, because it's likely that you can be listed there as well. So it's just thinking bigger picture and thinking, where else can I place my business? Not just, could be anywhere. Could be a local restaurant that they love to support you. They might add a link to a referral link on their website. So, and you can actually, if you've got Google Analytics set up, you can actually track where all this business is coming from. So if they've actually come directly from a referral link, you know, that's great. I'm going to keep putting but I'm going to keep putting time into this partnership or this network to make sure that there's, you know, that I can stay on this website or they can continue to refer me. So it's a larger strategy than just reviews. It's sort of just like making sure that you're visible wherever you can be.
Absolutely. No, that's a really good tip there, and particularly looking at not just third-party booking channels that have a booking capability, but it's just working within your region, within counterparts, because you're all sort of talking to similar guests.
And then of course you can
together.
Yeah, and you can also have a link from your website to their website, so it's like this it's a partnership, it's a relationship. And that's sort of the message that I want to leave with, is just think bigger picture. Think, how can I expose my business in other ways that I haven't thought of before? Because there's so many opportunities out there that you just might not be aware of.
Exactly. Thinking outside the square. I love that, Alice. And quickly on the point about Review Pro, absolutely, I'm more than comfortable to talk on that. So, and that's a part of your TIC-SA membership for accredited members. You get access to the Review Pro platform. Essentially, it's like a channel manager for online reputation management, where you can manage and improve your online reputation through reviews, to obviously deliver better guest experiences, increase your rankings on review sites and online travel agents. But it's all through one portal, which links approximately, I think it's about 175 sites, and it's just where you can manage all all your reviews on that one area and set sort of report functionalities. It's a really, really great tool. We can give you, I'll make sure our email post this will give you some more information on Review Pro, but I can't encourage it enough. Oh, I love it. Yeah, we can absolutely do a session on Review Pro. And look, we've Christina Belperia from our team's online. Thanks, Christina, for flicking a link to that. But information to Review Pro. But it is, I can't, I previously to working from TKSA, I've spent 20 years in the industry and I lived and breathed Review Pro. So it's a really vital tool and goes into that last point that Alice is talking about. It really helps you with your management and understanding that. So, oh, thanks, Kelly, for that feedback as well. Appreciate that. Watch this space, guys. Love it. So yeah, we'll move on that topic a little bit more for you guys as well. So you're leveraging that to its full potential. Alice, wow, I feel like we've discussed so much today. And, you know, those 5 key tips. So in my summary, you know, the 5 marketing practices, you know, businesses should be doing in 2022. It's, you know, it's about those socials and, you know, that's an awesome tip on Linktree and great to see some people actually jumping on and doing that now. So that's really valuable. Thank you. And the Google My Business and the value of our community and quickly sharing some knowledge. It looks like there's been some updates that have happened so quickly. And that's the power of, and that's the power of this, isn't it? It's such a fluid space. So, you know, hence why we wanted to bring this to you guys today, because it is so hard to keep continually across it, and it's constantly changing. So, you know, there's some quick wins we can do there. Obviously, our website, let's audit that. Let's see what we can continually improve that. And obviously, our point about content and videos that feeds into both those areas through our socials and through our website. Influencers, start thinking outside the square there. Don't be afraid of it, and lean on our friends. We've got some wonderful friends within the SATC and also Adelaide as well. So let's lean on them and use them. And Kelly's probably, you know, Kelly from Jungle House Experiences, you know, I know she's has used that element in her marketing successfully too. So don't be afraid of it and lean on that and explore.
But also don't just invite anyone who reaches out to you on Instagram. You just do your research. Look at do you like their contact? How many content do you have? How many followers do they have? Are they the right fit? And to do them all, to bunch them together in a sort of a campaign works more effectively than just having them sort of singularly as like one random.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a strategy behind it and think smartly on and how to use it, and obviously qualify them, because you want it to be the right fit and their market the right fit to your ideal guest as well. And then obviously reviews. So managing your reviews and third-party websites as well, and thinking a bit more broadly from third-party websites, just from being an online travel agent to various, you know, your regional tourism organisation, your VICs, to product in your region as well that you can collaborate and support with. Wow. So guys, I'm overwhelmed, but in a good way, because I feel like I've got some really great tips to go away in, and I hope you guys have too. Thanks, Julie, Adelaide Style.
Thank you. I could talk for hours and hours. Like even when I was talking, I was like, oh, I want to talk about this, but it does become overwhelming. But you know, the thing is, you're marketing tourism. It's just it's the best thing. It's the best thing to market there is, to be honest. So you're all in a really lucky position. You're not marketing like batteries or anything. So
yeah, absolutely. There could be a lot more boring things to do. I completely agree. Well, thank you, Alice, so much for your time today. And guys, we will connect you with Alice post this call. And you know, the expertise of Purple Giraffe, a valued partner of ours, where you can, you know, review your current marketing practices as well with Alice or any one of the wonderful team there. So thanks all guys for joining us. I'm glad everybody's got some really good takeaways from this session, some simple things to move on and do. And yeah, we'll be back speaking to you again really soon.
Thanks, everyone.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.